Gorman in the morning. We're going to rock this town. The greatest unexpected, oh my God, that's the best band I've ever seen concert of my life was the Stray Cats. I walked in and couldn't care less, and an hour later, I never wanted them to quit. That was one hellacious live band. Brian Setzer, our best to you always, sir. We hope he is on the mend.
Say that, yeah.
It is Minnesota's 92 KQRS. This is Gorman in the Morning. It is Wednesday, December the 3rd, and I'm here with Paul Fletcher.
Happy third step of the 5-step program of the weekend.
Ryder.
Wham. Next thing I know, I'm in a guy's car.
Every freaking morning, right about this time.
That's it. Next thing I know, I'm in a guy's car.
Yeah.
Jeez. Well, if you're getting in your car right now, a couple things. Be careful and turn the radio up.
Yep.
Absolutely.
How about that? Let's go. I'm feeling Minnesota, Paul Fletcher, so if you wouldn't mind, I could use some headlines.
In Menominee, protesters are pushing back on a proposed data center. In fact, protests happened Tuesday all across Wisconsin as part of a statewide day of action against data centers. Citizens are concerned about water usage, their wells literally being run dry, excessive noise, and etc. And so they specifically Menominee's city council has been pushing back on behalf of the citizens. So it looks like we're just kind of entrenched in a bit of a battle.
Yeah, is this a Meta or Google? Who'd you say? Do we know which one of these horrible companies is putting this data center there?
Unfortunately, they're clever. It's a company using the alias Balloonist LLC.
Yeah,
they bought 320 acres, and we don't know.
Talk to your friends in Memphis about how their life is since they put in a data center there. These things are the devil. Absolutely, 100%. They're taking our natural resources. They're putting a huge strain on all of the services of a community, and also a handful of people can make billions of dollars. I am so anti-data center. If you want the data center, go buy your own island somewhere and put it there. You are messing people's lives up.
Can we send it to space?
Please, yes.
Do it.
Why couldn't we? Everyone who says, yeah, but what would we be without Facebook? And what about not Google and all that? Well, you know what? We wouldn't be poisoning water, and we wouldn't be, making entire neighborhoods unlivable and therefore unsellable and ruining people's investments. Okay, I'm done.
No, fair.
It's tough.
Everything you just said is...
Every place in America that has one of these, it just completely destroys the quality of life for the poor people who happen to live right where they put them.
Yeah.
There's
awful.
Really
awful
quick,
stuff.
There's one story of a family who's put their house on the market. It was built in 1899, was once a one-room schoolhouse, then a church, then an auto shop before being converted to a single-family home in the 1980s, and he's having to sell it as commercial real estate because it has no value as a residence.
Yeah. That's unbelievable. That's, again, I just know what's going on in Memphis.
Yeah.
A lot of people I know, I have friends in Memphis, and man, it's just that story times 1,000.
A quick-thinking utility worker used a bucket truck to rescue a resident from a burning building on Monday in Somerville, Massachusetts. And man, oh man, Fire Chief Charles Breen he talks about the hero, and he sounds about as Boston as it gets.
She had climbed out a window onto the front porch under heavy smoke and fire conditions, and the Eversource worker got her into the bucket and got her to safety. I'd like to really give credit to that worker. He did a hell of a job, definitely saved the woman's life. She was in severe danger at the time.
That was really amazing that he acted that quickly and got there.
When I win the lottery, I'm not buying a Porsche. I'm not buying a Beamer. I'm buying a freaking bucket truck.
Yeah, you are. I'm just thanking. I'm just taking a moment to thank the Lord that Jimi Hendrix wasn't from Boston. Let me stand next to your fire.
Holy hell.
Yeah.
Man.
You know what, though? I want to be best friends with that fire chief. My God. HBO Max just released all 7 seasons of Mad Men in 4K. However, it came with some unintended consequences. Apparently, the wrong files were delivered to HBO, and many of those files didn't include post-production work. This led to some interesting on-screen mistakes. The most glaring...
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That's fantastic. The wrong files.
Oh, yeah. The most glaring mistake is in Season 1, episode Red in the Face, where Roger Sterling, played by John Slattery, vomits in front of a group of prospective clients.
I remember it. I love that show.
Well, and then you better hurry up and go watch it again, because the new version posted on HBO Max, you can actually see 2 crew members at the edge of the shot managing the puke machine.
Oh, wait. All right. So Roger's throwing up, and there's 2 guys off what should be off camera running a machine that makes the vomit sound.
Makes him vomit. Or it's probably projecting.
The actual...
There's
And you
like
can see it.
Yeah, you can see the tube running up to Roger.
Oh man,
And like
that is hilarious.
Two guys in like white t-shirts and cargo pants just hanging out in the back working the machine. Not period appropriate at all.
No.
Totally gives away the illusion.
What if they'd been
Should be in coveralls.
I was going to say, what if they were dressed like guys from 1963? That would have been 59. That would have been
back
fantastic.
hair, and, whole bit.
Season
pinky
1.
ring.
Oh, it's great.
Well,
I love the fact that you're like, hey, we got this new show. Oh, sorry, wrong files. And somewhere between receiving those files and putting them up on this giant streaming platform, nobody watched.
Nobody looked at it.
Well, you know what?
Hey, my former rock and roll combo, the Black Crowes, there was a new release of the third album, Amorica, with a bunch of expanded, all the B-sides and tracks that didn't make the cut, and it's a whole bunch of crap.
This one that just came out like a month ago?
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of crap. And there's a song on there that ended up on the fourth album called Evil Eye, and I just became aware of this. It was recorded for the third album and not used, but that version is on here. And apparently in the remix, the vocal is out of sync. The lead vocal is not where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And so what is a call and response song is now just a head-on car crash. And apparently, the official word from the Black Crowes was, no, we meant to do that, which I'm a little curious.
Wow.
I wouldn't,
You know what?
It's interesting to say the very least.
I think HBO did mean to do that.
Yeah.
Because we're sitting here talking about it.
There you go.
Nothing is actually lost.
There you go.
By seeing this scene, people are freaking out. And now I'm going to say this. A source at HBO is working on swapping out all the files. So you better hurry up and go watch it if you want to see it.
There you go.
Totally by design, I say.
All right, I like it.
I got a new weight loss plan for us all this winter.
Okay.
All right.
Don't pre-warm your car. Instead, go sit in it and shiver as it warms up. According to science, 15 minutes of shivering in the cold is the psychological equivalent of moderate exercise for 1 hour.
I don't doubt that. When I'm truly have the shivers, it's exhausting.
Right.
Yeah.
So chill out and burn calories. We burn more calories to maintain internal temperature. It's a process called thermogenesis. So I say, let's go just shiver in our cars.
Thank you, science.
Yeah. Not a fan of this.
Cool.
I'm trying to get Mr. Ryder to buy me an automatic car starter for Christmas, so let's keep this away from him.
I would rather sweat on a treadmill for an hour and be over hot than be shivering cold. I'm okay. I'm okay sweating. Man, the shivers. That doesn't work.
That makes me laugh because I am such a pathetically lazy pile of crap that I would rather go sit in my car and shiver for 15 minutes than go and actually work out.
But you know what? We've all got crosses to bear. Hey, let's talk sports. So much for happy endings. Yesterday, I was thrilled for Adam Thielen. He asked for a release, and the Vikings gave it to him. And then a team could pick him up off waivers, and maybe he'd have a run to go win a Lombardi trophy.
Right.
And then his phone rang, and it was the Pittsburgh Steelers saying, come on down.
Right.
Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers ship might not be listing quite as dramatically as the Vikings ship, but they're going nowhere fast. This team started okay, and every week they're worse. And
it doesn't make any sense.
And now what makes no sense is their defense is completely useless, which that's in Pittsburgh, that's basically reason to shut down the city. Mike Tomlin is only the third head coach there since 1969. You know that, right?
Right.
1969, he's their third head coach, and they're considering, according to all sources, they're considering firing him. That's an earthquake in Pittsburgh Steelerland, and that's where Adam Thielen is ending his career now. I'm sorry, man. I mean, I know he and Aaron Rodgers are kind of buddies, I guess is the word on the street, but they ain't that close. I was hoping the Patriots would pick him up. Oh, well.
Yeah,
hey,
doesn't make sense.
Let's get on some good news. How about the Minnesota Wild last night in Edmonton?
How about the Wall of St. Paul?
How about Brodin giving us a goal in the first half off of a face-off, a one-timer, just a jolt right past Edmonton goalie Stuart Skinner, and that's all we needed because Jesper Wallstedt stopped 33 shots for a league-leading fourth shutout. That's your league rookie of the month for November.
Hell yeah.
My man is on a stinking tear. He's on a 7-game win streak. He's 8-0-2 overall. Can you say badassery? Because that's what he's providing every night between the pipes.
He is the Wall of St. Paul, my man. Like, he is unbelievable. He's as good as what they hoped he would be. They may have a goaltending controversy.
The Timberwolves last night in New Orleans, Ant-Man had 44 points. Rudy Gobert, 26 points and 13 rebounds. Woo. They were playing the worst team in the Western Conference, who 2 of 5 starters were not on the court. and the Wolves won in overtime. They were down 15 in the third. Okay, something's wrong with this team. Yeah. I'm now ready to say I'm not overreacting. Chris Finch said before the game, our slow start this year is because we're bored, meaning they think they can flip a switch.
Oh.
You cannot. Minnesota Timberwolves cannot flip a switch. Denver and OKC are clearly better than you, and they're clearly not bored.
Yeah.
Right.
Because they're both trying to destroy the league every single time they get on the court.
Right.
I've seen this my entire life. We are very close to becoming the Milwaukee Bucks of the 1980s, which is a really, really good team, but not quite Boston, not quite Philly, not quite Detroit. Send the Wolves to Nashville, put them on a pedal cart because they are bridesmaids yet again if they don't turn this around this season.
They could even, if they continue this, they could end up being the Vikings.
Listen, man. Okay. Well, hang on. I didn't want to go that far.
I just did.
I know you did. Hey, Delwood, or as I call you, Del Griffinwood this time of year. Good to have you with us, Delwood. Mm-hmm. It's always a pleasure. I think we should speed things up a little bit. How about this? How about Goo Goo Dolls and then Speed Tracks? Speed Tracks following the Goo Goo Dolls. Let's go. Gorman in the Morning, My Generation by The Who right there. Mm-hmm. Still just a badass rock tune.
Hell yeah.
Super good.
Kind of says it all right there, man. They were getting some work done is what they were doing.
Yeah.
The date today, December 3rd. So let's see, 1979 is what, 162 years ago. This is the day in 1979 when The Who performed at Cincinnati.
163 years.
That's right, sorry.
Sorry, yeah.
1979, on this day, their first U.S. tour with Kenny Jones in place of Keith Moon.
Yeah.
A lot of people are always surprised. They just assume this was a Keith Moon era thing just because we forget. Keith Moon died in 78. The band was on the road the next year with Kenny Jones. They went to Cincinnati. It was a general admission house, and for some reason at the arena before the show, one set of doors was opened in the entire this is an arena. There's doors in a circle all around the building.
Yep.
They opened one set of doors. GA house, everyone wants to be in the front. The scrum just jammed in, and it turned into a horrible British soccer game from the 80s where the fans stampeded. And a bunch of people lost their lives, and a whole bunch of people were injured, and it was an absolute tragedy. The band had no idea. The management made a decision not to tell them. They went ahead and played the show. They finished the gig and were told, and they were, of course, sideways, devastated. They didn't return to Cincinnati until just a few years ago. They couldn't bring themselves to go back.
Don't blame them.
It's a huge stain. Okay, so you got to find silver linings where you can. It changed. That never happened again, at least not in America. Every promoter suddenly went, hold on, we got to put seats on the floors of these arenas. We can't do this general admission crap. They still do it occasionally, of course, but, I mean, it's very regimented. That situation was never repeated. Yeah. It put the whole industry on notice. That's a good thing. Personally speaking, I had a ticket to that show. It was in my hand.
That's insane.
I'm at school the day before that gig holding a ticket to see The Who.
Oh, damn.
My buddy Mike Joyner and his older sister, they were the people that went to every show all the time.
They were the cool kids.
And he said, he goes, I got one for you. I'm in, what is that, 1979? So I'm in 1980. I'm in 9th grade. And I'm like, man, let's go.
Oh, of course.
Don and Imelda had different ideas about how I should spend that evening, and I was told, you are out of your mind. I said, please, 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 I'll never ask for anything else. They said, well, you're failing algebra, so no. Did not go. Mike and his sister were right in the middle of that pack of kids.
How far away is Cincinnati from where you grew up?
It's like a 4-hour drive.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not. Wow. It's not around the corner.
Wow.
It's up there.
Yeah, that's a drive.
No, it's. I mean, I get
grade.
it.
Yeah, I get it.
I wouldn't have let my 9th grade kid go to a concert 4 hours away on a school night with a sophomore and a freshman in college. So I get it. But it was the 70s, and I thought we were still living our lives in the 70s. Yeah. Anyway. That's what I would call a close call because they were in the middle of that scrum. They both got knocked down. They both jumped up. Right. Yes. Right. I mean, their stories were harrowing. And I'll tell you this is a weird way to thread this needle. If I'd been there, I would have been in trouble because I was raised, unfortunately, my dad had made damn sure we're all like, when something goes wrong, you handle it. Like we were the Red Cross violent. He just instilled that. You're a Marine, which no, I'm just a kid.
Yeah.
But I was raised to be the person that kept their cool and handled stuff. I have no training in how to handle a melee and a stampede, and I would have tried, and I would have been stampeded.
Uh-oh.
I just know that. I remember thinking, like, I wouldn't have thought to run right away, and I would have gotten crushed, and so it's a good thing. That's one of the close calls in life I look back on and go, man, thank God I wasn't there. Or at worst, I just would have been traumatized. I mean, at best, I would have been traumatized by seeing this go down. All this to say,
take that algebra.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You look
Thanks,
back in
algebra.
life, and you look back in life, and we all have those close calls. There's moments where you're like, oh man, and because nothing went wrong, sometimes the enormity of what may have happened, it lessens over time. And then every now and then you're reminded, oh yeah, I fell asleep at the wheel of a car, sober as a judge in college, and what woke me up was the horn of the semi I was driving right towards. And I swerved my Mustang II that I shared with my brother off Highway 68 onto the shoulder, fishtail, came to a rest, and sat there and had an adrenaline surge for 9 minutes, and then cried for 9 minutes because I couldn't control my body.
Yeah.
And then drove home the rest of the way just thinking I shouldn't be here. I should absolutely not be here.
Right.
What's the craziest close call like that you ever had that you don't think about because it all worked out, but when you look back, you go, whew, baby, that's a happy accident or a lucky mistake or any of those things. 651-989-ROCK is the Luther West Side Volkswagen talk and text line. Hit us up, text us, or call us. Think about this. I want to know if you guys have any. What's the greatest close call in your life? Gorman in the morning, Minnesota's 92 KQRS. It's December the 3rd. We're talking about close calls. Happy mistakes, if you will, or lucky accidents, things that could have gone horribly awry. If you want to let us know yours on the Luther Westside Volkswagen Talk and Text line at 651-989-ROCK, let her rip. Right now, Michelle from Harris is on the horn. Michelle, good morning. What have you got for us?
Good morning, Steve. This is a long time ago, but we had built a house out in Maple Grove, and I know we didn't have a lock on the house yet. I was getting ready to leave for work. I got back out. I locked the door to the service door. And then I hopped in my car. I went to work on 694. I saw this cloud of dust in front of me, and I'm like, what the heck is that? It's like 5:30 in the morning. And I got up there, and here a cement truck had tipped over on the 694 bridge, hit a car, pinned it to the guardrail like a piece of gum. And it took them 5 hours to get that person out of that car. And it happened right in front of me. And it could have been me had I not hopped back out and decided that I needed to lock that door.
Wow. Sure. Yeah. You know what? That's exactly what I'm talking about. A lot of people would have never put those two things together. They would have forgotten about them because you were okay. Yeah, that's a good one. Michelle, thanks so much. A quick decision. Yeah, you oops, I got to go check that door. Oops, I got to do that. We've all I guarantee you that's going to trigger a lot of those like, oh, yeah, that's right. I almost my wife has a fear of heights, and she full on in New York City looking down or talking to someone pre-cell phone, but she was with the friend, and like a bad movie, elevator doors open, there was no elevator. Oh. And she just and her friend grabbed her arm to stop her.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. They were, and of course I was like, well, it was only like the 5th floor. And she looked at me like, hey, dumbass. Because I was like, well, it wasn't 30 floors. You probably would have. No, you wouldn't have lived. Yeah, that's there's those, and I'll bring that up every now and then, and she goes, "Oh yeah, that's right." I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's right." I'd lead with that.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Steve. I almost fell into an elevator shaft. Good to meet you. All right, keep them coming. I love close call stories. We got a few more to share. Ryder, what's on your mind? You just had that look on your face.
Oh, I was hoping that we were going to get to headlines in just a few minutes.
Oh, we are going to. Go figure. In about 5 minutes, in fact, and 2 songs. Headlines. Gorman in the morning, Minnesota's 92 KQRS. We started this conversation. Today's December 3rd, the anniversary of the tragic Who concert in Cincinnati where a bunch of kids were trampled and lost their lives. I had a ticket to that show and was not able to attend. A bit of a close call, if you will, because the friends I would have been with were right in the middle of that scrum, fighting to not be knocked over. And Mike, my buddy, was knocked over. His sister helped him up. They ran through. Damn. They made it in. They saw the show having no idea that people were killed also. So, it wasn't like everyone knew at the moment.
Yeah.
Anyway, all this to say, a bit of a close call. We've all got some close calls in life looking back. We're sharing a bunch, and the Luther Westside Volkswagen Talk and Text line is a light, to say the very least.
Absolutely. Kimberly and Hudson came up with one that's just unbelievable. About 20 or 25 years ago, my husband was on his way up to Duluth to do a job. He stopped at a gas station, and these 2 young women came up and asked if they could get a ride up to Duluth with him. He only had 2 seats in his work van, and he told them, sorry, buddy, just couldn't do it. Later that night, he was in his hotel watching the news. He saw a story where a guy picked picked up two gals that were hitchhiking, and they ended up stabbing and robbing him.
Oh.
It was the two girls that had asked him for a ride.
Oh.
Spine tingler, my
yes,
God.
indeed.
That's like a scene from a Stephen King movie or something.
That would definitely fit the definition of close call.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Keep them coming.
Unreal.
We got a lot more to dive into in about 5 minutes and 2 songs. Gorman in the morning. Minnesota's 92 KQRS. It is Wednesday, December the 3rd, and we are talking about close calls.
Oh, boy.
Moments where it all could have gone horribly wrong. You escape with the skinnier, what is it, by the skin of your teeth?
Yeah, I
Or
can
the
never
skin of
figure out what
your
that is. I've
chinny
asked my
chin
dentist
chin.
a few times.
Okay.
Yeah, does teeth have skin?
I don't know, but things that could have gone very awry. We started this whole thing because today is the December 3rd, the anniversary of the tragic events of the Cincinnati Who concert in 1979. A stampede left a lot of fans injured and I think 14 killed, which is just incomprehensibly tragic. I had a ticket to the show, and I was not allowed to go. I would have been right in the middle of that pack of kids. And I think back to that every year at this time, like, whew, man.
So nuts.
Got a few of those, and I'm hardly alone in the whole looking back and going, there was a close call. First things first, either one of you have any of these? I mean, I also mentioned once I fell asleep at the wheel and almost had a head on, almost drove right into a semi coming right at me head on. Most terrifying few seconds of my life, followed by the adrenaline surge.
Yeah.
And then when that finally wore off, I just burst into tears and cried for 10 minutes. It was,
Oh, boy.
my whole body was just on another plane. Ryder, anything like that come to mind?
I mean, not nearly that dramatic, but the one that springs to mind for me, and I'm sure a ton of people, is I drove across the 35W bridge right sometime between about 5:45 and 6:15 almost daily for years and years and years. And I did move away, so I was not anywhere close to that thing when it collapsed.
Right.
But had I not quit the job working at the restaurant, that's where I would have been right about that time.
A lot of people texted in on the Luther Westside Volkswagen Talk and Text line. The same story. A lot of people were on the bridge that day right before. No shortage of those. Yeah.
Well, let's...
Classic example, and that's one that that so many people all had at the exact same moment. I mean, I don't know how many people didn't take advantage of a Who ticket that night, but there were a lot of people that were close or whatever. So yeah, but there's some of these we heard earlier. You told a story of a guy who almost picked up some hitchhikers, told them he didn't have room in his van, and those same hitchhikers then later got a ride and stabbed and robbed the guy that was giving them the ride. That's a very close call.
Freaking Netflix documentary.
The bridge and the Who concert, a lot of people have the same thought at the same time, which is, oh my gosh, it's wild to think about how close you come. I mean, all that stuff you hear when you lose someone about it, every day's special. Don't take it for granted. It's really true, because you look back, anybody that's ever been to London, England, the first time, you stepped out in front of a bus, admit it. Because it happens all the time. There's a reason it says look right at every crosswalk in London. That's because Americans are dumb, slow on the uptake. It's like I've been there. I've spent a lot of time in that city all over the UK, and it is so ingrained. I will look left when I'm walking out in the street, and people are like, dude, I just can't get around. It's a miracle I haven't been hit by a cab or a bus in that town.
Absolutely. So Rich texted in on the Luther Westside Volkswagen Talk and Text line. A deer hit me on my motorcycle, laid the bike down, and I hit my helmet. My helmeted head hit the blacktop. One night in the hospital, bruised lung, bike totaled. Could have been a heck of a lot worse.
It certainly could have been.
Lisa Miller will back me up on this, but wear all the freaking gear when you are on your bike.
Yeah.
100%. Man, no mistake. I had a near miss. This just reminded me. Right before a gig, we were at a gig in 1993, in the spring of 93. Again, here comes my ridiculous memory. Two things happened at Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. One, first time I ever heard the Jerky Boys. Walked off stage after a gig. Walked off stage after a gig, got on the bus, and someone said, one of the guys in the band said, hey, the dude from the label just gave me this CD, and he swears it's the funniest thing you've ever heard. And we sat on that bus and listened to it like 4 times in a row, the whole thing, just beside ourselves with laughter.
I'm Sol Rosenberg.
So that happened.
I'll bring my glasses.
Up and down and all over. Speeding up and down and all over. But before that gig, this is in Bethlehem. For some reason, somebody showed up, or I don't remember. Just right outside the venue, there was a field, and some guy had a bunch of ATVs. Like, you guys want to take a ride? And I'm like, sure.
Hell yeah.
And I'm stupid and already had a couple of Foster's oil cans in me, and I hopped on a 4-wheeler and just went right down a hill. And the first time I came to like a little bump, almost went right over the handlebars. Oh. Like I came up off that thing and I gripped so hard and accelerated in panic, pulled the throttle back while I was trying to hold on for dear life, and somehow miraculously did not flip over and didn't roll the thing over on top of me. I mean, in my memory, I was like, my feet were off. I mean, I was like almost upside down, hanging on like I was doing a stunt.
Yeah.
Probably nowhere near that extreme, but that's what it felt like.
For sure.
Knievel style.
And when that thing came to when I bounced down and let go of the throttle and stopped it, my right wrist really hurt for a few seconds, and then it kind of went away. But I had jerked it enough where it really. So my first thought was, I can't drum tonight. It's like 6 p.m. I got a 9 o'clock show.
Okay. Yep.
My second thought was, I should be dead as hell, and never got on one since because hey, only took me one.
If you were up in the air when you gunned it, it probably brought you back down to the seat. If you think about the inertia or whatever,
whatever it was, I mean, that was like, whoa! I hadn't thought about that thing in years. Wow.
I did my first full-time gig. It was in Vail, Colorado. So I flew out of DIA all the time.
Okay.
I dang near.
DIA is Denver International.
Yeah, sorry.
Airport? Okay.
Yes, good call.
Yeah.
I just shorthand everything. And I narrowly missed. I don't think it was a full-blown avalanche, but that was super common on 70 when you're coming down through the mountains. And I remember when I got to, this just triggered my memory. It was 98. When I got to the airport, I had seen up on the news that a portion of the freeway had been closed. Ooh. And I'm like, oh, if that would have been me, it would have either pushed me down the hill or covered my car and buried me. Who knows? But it was like a full-blown avalanche, but it would have been enough to do some damage.
That certainly would have been.
Yeah, for sure.
We got a few more really good ones to share. If you want to add yourself to the list, 651-989-ROCK, your Luther Westside Volkswagen Talking text line. More coming right after this from Jane's Addiction. Gorman in the morning, Minnesota's 92 KQRS. Always love that line. Got to get myself right out of here. Not to be confused with the other great line like that from the English Speed Save It for Later. Just hold my hand while I come to a decision on it.
I like that one.
Yeah, that's that song, by the way, that would be the all-time. If you said to me, gun to the head, Steve, what's your song for your life? The English Speed Save It for Later.
Yeah,
that's
nice,
it. That's the
pregnant
one.
pause there.
That's the one. For reasons that go well beyond the pregnant pause.
Yeah.
Right now, on the horn, meteorologist from Channel 5, Matt Serwe, is joining us because we have to yell at him for bringing us all this horribly cold weather. Matt, good morning, brother.
Good morning. Yeah, isn't it weird to actually feel like winter in December for a change?
It's been a bit.
It's been a minute since we were able to say that. 2022, I was here in December, and it was wintry as hell. And the last few, not the case. To hammer the point you just made, I hear about a Clipper wave train, and I think to myself, this is the kind of thing that Matt Serwe just sits around and makes up. What sounds cool? Clipper Wave Train. Is it a band name or is it a weather front? What should I do with this? What in the world is a Clipper Wave Train, Matt?
Clipper Wave Train opened for Devo in '82.
Exactly. That's great.
Exactly what. But it is. It's a series of storms that move through a really fast-moving jet stream, and they get the word Clipper. It's an old type. So many weather terms are from eons ago, even predating you. But it's from the sea-bearing term, a clipper, a fast-moving ship in the sea that gets caught in kind of a current. So that's what these are. It's a series of fast-moving storms caught in a fast current. We know it as the jet stream, and you might hear them called Alberta Clippers because they usually form in the Canadian province of Alberta. There are also, and again, these sound like 1940s wrestlers, there are also terms called Saskatchewan Screamers and Manitoba Maulers.
Yes! Wow, that's fantastic. Or even CFL football teams I would take for extra points.
We have to bring back the Rouge. They're getting rid of the Rouge, and I'm so mad.
You know what? I mean, and speaking of that, the Rough Riders. We could call these storms could be called Rough Riders. There wasn't even one of those. There was two of those in the CFL at one time.
Exactly.
Okay, so Matt, when you're going about your business and you see a clipper forming, an Alberta clipper, I mean, what do you think? Yeah, I mean, you must get a little bit of an adrenaline surge. Just like, oh yeah, here it comes, baby.
No, they're more annoying. Like what we saw last night, we got a half inch to an inch of snow in the Twin Cities. These things don't do much except bring in more cold air because they move really fast, but they usually have a cold front with them. And when the cold front swings through, it just reinforces, oh yeah, Canada likes to send cold air our way this time of year, and that's what we're feeling.
Yeah, right. If it's not the cold air in the winter, it's the smoke in the summer. So I'm starting to get a bit of a beef going with my Canadian brethren. Matt, let's talk about this cold. How cold are we about? How cold is it going to get over the next? Let's just keep it with the next week or so.
Okay, so this is interesting. The fact that we picked up about an inch of snow in the metro last night, that's going to help us drop really, really cold tomorrow morning. We're going to have high pressure building in, so the winds are going to calm down. We're going to have fresh snow. We're going to have a clear sky. We could see some temperatures in the Twin Cities, like inside the loop, maybe as cold as 10 below zero. Outer ring suburbs and even getting farther out toward Lakeville and to the north toward Forest Lake and Hugo, we could see some temperatures near 15 below zero tomorrow morning. Now, these aren't record, but it's certainly going to be really freaking cold. And then since we have all these clippers coming through, we're going to go up to 30 degrees Friday, back into the teens going into the weekend, and probably up toward 30 again early next week. So there are a lot of really big temperature swings, and on the cold side of them, we're going to get cold.
Okay, well then, so let's remove all that pain and misery and let's talk about the fun. How much snow can we expect over the next few weeks? Are you looking into the crystal ball and seeing a lot of precipitation?
When we're in this type of a pattern, I could have snow chances every single day, but it adds up to like 2 inches of snow over a week. So until we break this pattern, we're going to get nickel and dimed. So we could have snow chances every single day on the 7-day forecast, but it's not going to amount to much. I'm not seeing anything significant over the next. I usually go out about 10 to 14 days. That's how comfortable I am going out. Mm-hmm. I'm not seeing anything significant. Somewhere in the Midwest right before Christmas, maybe, but it's one of those storms where we don't know if it's going to hit Kansas City, Chicago, or the Twin Cities.
Right. Got it. Okay, well, so basically just get ready because we're definitely in winter, and it's a good old-fashioned winter, not like the last two.
No, it's a real winter, and anyone with a backyard rink, you really need to start thinking about flooding it soon. I had people who were asking me if they could flood it over Thanksgiving weekend, and I said, yeah, go ahead. That's how cold we're going to be over the next several weeks.
Oh, that's awesome. Matt, you were with us in studio not that long ago, and we were talking about how the cool kids in the meteorology world will drop in a bunch of song titles when they're given a report. And you went deep on a Radiohead segment, sir.
Yeah, that was my friends who were gearing up for their short European tour run who are telling me I need to go to Copenhagen right now. They were like, okay, you have to try and get as many as you can in. And so I wrote down a list of just songs that popped into my head. And I think I got 24 in during a forecast.
No way.
I thought it was like a dozen, maybe a baker's dozen. 24 Radiohead song titles in a single forecast. Which one was the most, what was the biggest stretch? What was the one you had to really work the hardest to work it in?
Everything is actually done pretty well in context. I'm not going to lie. Maybe when I said it's not going to be Permanent Daylight is a B-side from 1994. I said it's not going to be Permanent Daylight. There are going to be some clouds coming in this afternoon.
Flexing all the way home right there. I love that. Matt Serwe, Tom York's the weatherman's best friend. Who knew?
Thank you, guys.
Matt, it is always a pleasure, my man. Look forward to getting you in studio the next time. Until then, I guess keep the choppers handy, huh?
Yes, absolutely. And stay warm, everyone, especially tomorrow morning. Parents, make sure kids are covered up from head to toe.
Right on. Thanks, brother. Good to talk to you.
You bet.
Hey, let's shift things a little bit. Let's talk about movies. Remember movies? We used to go all the time, and it was cool.
Yeah. When it's cold and I don't want to be outside.
Yeah. A lot of good films. Go figure. Movies are coming back. Not just superhero movies, but other ones about human beings having life experiences that we can relate to and be inspired by. That's a new thing. That's an old thing that's back, thankfully. So let's talk about it. Movie critic Brian Eggert is going to join us, and we're going to look at a bunch of stuff that's just out or just coming out, and we'll parse, we'll separate the wheat from the chaff, as they say. Sure. Let's talk movies in about 5 minutes and 2 songs. Gorman in the morning with Fletcher and Ryder, Minnesota's 92 KQRS. It is Wednesday, December the 3rd. Brian Eggert is in studio with us. Brian Eggert is your 2024 Independent Movie Critic of the Year. Runs the DeepFocusReview.com, the CineFiles on KARE 11+, KARE 11+, and basically all that to say, a movie critic.
Absolutely.
And I'm happy to have you in studio. Good morning, Brian.
Thanks for having me.
It is a pleasure to chat movies at all times, especially with someone who does this for a living. I want to go back. So I asked you this first things first. You graduated high school in what year?
2000.
2000. So you were your years of discovering movies, and back when we all used to go to movies all the time. The 90s were still a decade where Hollywood ruled. Middle school, high school, that's pretty good time to decide you like film.
Yeah. Not only was there a lot of great stuff in theaters, but TCM. I grew up on TCM.
Oh, right on.
Just watching classics.
Yep.
And I absolutely love classics. I mean, it's the bread and butter of
Sure.
all movies, and you can kind of see classics in newer movies, and I love making those connections. And then 1999, like.
What a year.
Like I said, when we were talking before, that's the year I got my driver's license. I'm driving to the theater every weekend, seeing things like Three Kings and Magnolia and Bringing Out the Dead and just...
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Top of my head, Fight Club.
The
Matrix.
Yep.
Ravenous.
If you ever saw Ravenous, such a weird,
Eyes
movie.
Wide Shut.
Eyes Wide Shut was a great one.
I believe Election.
Election was 99. Yeah.
One of my. I mean, the list goes on forever.
Yeah.
What an incredible time. My kids are in their 20s, and they're both really into movies, and they look back at that as like the goal. You know, they're like, "Oh, the 90s must have been amazing," and I laugh. But then I'm like, "Well, compared to now, yeah, it really was."
Yeah.
The idea that we would all go to one movie a weekend. That wasn't unusual. If somebody said, "Oh, I went to 50 movies last year," in 1994. For me, that was
normal.
Of course, totally normal. Every weekend, you squeezed in at least one movie.
Right. And I think that was, at that time, the society wasn't so fragmented. There wasn't these cultural bubbles that there are today.
Yep.
And so advertising hit everyone.
Yeah.
And so everyone went to go see the same movies.
That's very true.
And if you couldn't get a ticket, you might see something else. You'd show up at the theater and, they're sold out. So I'm going to just check out this other thing.
Happened all the time.
And so we were always open to seeing things that we weren't planning on seeing.
One of my great ever, I don't even remember what I was going to see, but it was sold out. So I went and saw Narrow Margin, Gene Hackman on the train with Ann Archer. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I'd never even heard of it, but it was there. So, let's go watch this. It's Gene Hackman. How bad can it be?
Right.
Yeah, because the also-rans used to be great as well.
Yeah. And now we just, everything's online. You buy your tickets online. If you can't get a ticket, you find a show that works for your time. And we don't necessarily experiment much with movies that we haven't been advertised,
Brian Eggert's in studio with us on Gorman in the Morning. We're talking about films. Let's look at the year 2025. A movie that is now, I guess it's just now out or it's about to be released that I'm seeing every single day is Hamnet.
Yeah.
The word itself bothers me to no end because I just picture a country ham wrapped in a hairnet. But no, this is apparently, as in Hamlet, there's a connection to Shakespeare. I really don't even know what it's about, but every critic on the planet is saying this is the movie of the year. You've seen it?
I saw it at the Twin Cities Film Fest.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm one of the few critics who don't really like this movie.
Oh, really?
Chloe Zhao, who directed it, she directed Nomadland, which won Best Picture a few years ago.
I remember that.
She got Best Director.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of her. I think she's trying to be Terrence Malick, if you know who that is.
Absolutely.
He directed Thin Red Line and Badlands and a lot of great movies. And he has a very distinct visual style that she is emulating. In fact, she worked with him to kind of like understudy under him.
That makes sense.
And I think she sort of taken his spiritualness and kind of earthiness.
You can see it.
And she's really putting that into her movies.
Okay.
And it just feels very, at least in Hamnet, feels very hollow to me.
Okay.
So the story is about how Shakespeare, was inspired to write Hamlet.
Okay.
Because of the death of his son.
Okay.
And he's played by Paul Mescal, who is kind of been typecast at this point as sort of a very sensitive guy who's, feeling a lot of feelings. And then Jessie Buckley, who is a great actress, gives a
she was in Fargo.
Yeah.
She's Irish, and she did the Minnesota. She was the killer nurse, right, in Fargo.
Right.
Yeah.
She's great.
Yeah.
But in this, everything just felt forced to me. Like it was trying to reach for grandiosity and deep feeling, and it just felt like, well,
gotcha.
Just let me feel it, and don't force it so much. I'm very much in the minority on this, though.
Right.
I think a lot of there were tears coming out of that theater, and all my fellow critics just loved it. But I was just like, I just can't get on board with this.
There is a thing. It's oftentimes I think it's easier to hear a band and go, oh, they're trying to sound like this band. We make those connections in music really quickly.
Yeah.
But then at some point, and just by a certain age, and for me it was always much later because I was more focused on music as something I obsessively thought. But as a movie fan, I know what you mean about seeing something and you immediately go, oh, that's a tip of the cap to this or to that. And so I know there's a very thin line. It's a tip of the cap, or is it ripping off? There's always a difference there.
And sometimes that illusionism can be really rich. And
Yeah.
like when Quentin Tarantino does it or something, he's nodding to movies that were from the 70s or 80s that he loves or whatever, and he's kind of reinventing that. And if you're familiar with those movies, it seems like, oh yeah, he's just kind of putting together a pastiche, but that pastiche is really alive. In this case, it just feels like she's not really doing anything original for me.
Got it.
And
Okay, so let's look at what else. Jay Kelly is that's the new Clooney thing, which I can't really get. I've seen the trailer, and I don't really understand what's happening, but it's got a lot of stars.
Yeah, it's got a lot of stars. And George Clooney, who hasn't really done, I'd say, a really good movie in over a decade, I think, is just great in this.
Okay.
It's by Noah Baumbach, written and directed by Noah Baumbach.
Oh, well, all right. Well, I'm on board then. That's all you got to say.
Yeah,
got it.
He's great. And it's about this movie star, like kind of the last classic movie star who never really... So the way I like to think of it is Cary Grant. Cary Grant was born Archie Leach, and he created this persona of Cary Grant.
Right.
And that's what he presented to the public, and that's what he put in his movies. Jake Kelly is this character who only developed a persona and has no real identity of his own.
Okay.
And late in his career, he's kind of like regretting his choices that he made and sacrifices he made for his career. And so it's kind of this road movie about him sort of getting this honor, and his manager is played by Adam Sandler, and Adam Sandler's, kind of sacrificed his life in service of his client's career.
Okay.
And everybody's kind of realizing that this guy's sort of hollow, and he's realizing he's hollow, and he's got to, deal with that.
Yeah.
So it seems kind of light at first when you're watching it, like it's a comedy or something, but I think it's really mining some interesting things about celebrity.
I think Tortured Clooney is the best Clooney.
I agree.
Michael Clayton's one of my favorite movies ever.
Yeah.
I can watch it. I can, if it's on, I'm just done. Oh crap! Here we go.
Yeah.
How much time do I have to sit in front of the TV now?
Yeah.
No, him, ennui. George Clooney is the best. I mean, I think he's funny when he's trying to be funny. I think he's can be really good, but I think he's great when he's tortured.
I agree. I also just love, I have to mention Out of Sight because it's my favorite George Clooney film.
Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah.
It's the Great White Whale. I've still never seen it. And
really?
And everybody, I've had so many people recommend it so heartily, and I've yet to get, and it's Soderbergh, right?
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay. All right. Very good. So right now, looking back, 2025, the movie, the year's not done. Are there any upcoming films that you have not seen yet?
There's a few
Okay.
kind of arty stuff that maybe won't be on people's radar.
Okay.
There's a Chinese film called Resurrection that I'm really looking forward to watching. But
so you're comfortable saying these are my best films of the year. You're not waiting to. Is there anything that might still jump on the list?
There's a couple of things that
Okay.
I've got to see, but I would say most of what my list is pretty well formed.
Okay.
I haven't published it yet, but
if you don't, if you don't want to spoil it, just in no particular order, give everybody give us three that you would say you got to see it if you want to understand 2025, the best movies.
I think the absolute best movie of the year, and I can't imagine this changing, is One Battle After Another.
Oh, sign off 1,000%. I agree.
Yeah, it's
not that I've seen a ton of movies this year, but I saw that one and I floated out of the theater.
Yeah. I think Warner Brothers has done something really interesting this year. They've given a lot of money to like auteur directors to make their passion projects.
Yep.
And some of them have been really commercially successful, like Sinners and One Battle.
Yep.
And then some of them have bombed, like Mickey 17. But I loved Mickey 17 and Sinners. And I think people need to just kind of get on board with the wildness of Mickey 17.
I haven't even heard of it.
Okay.
It completely eluded me.
Okay, so it's by Bong Joon-ho, who did Parasite.
Okay.
I love that one.
Yeah, it's outstanding.
Yeah.
And this is very much like a commentary on, class and politics today. But it's a sci-fi movie about Robert Pattinson. He's kind of this poor guy who's looking to escape the mob, basically, and he signs up to go on a colonization mission in space. And he signs up as an expendable, basically, and he will be killed and cloned repeatedly. So his memories will be put into a new body. So he's basically just like indentured servitude, where he's an expendable body.
Okay, whenever that came out, I saw something about it like once, and it never hit my radar again. But now that you said that, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, so that's good.
It's a wild, very funny movie. Just like Parasite, it's got different tones and kind of leaps from horror to sci-fi to comedy to romance. It's got everything. I loved it.
So One Battle After Another, Mickey 17, and then you mentioned Sinners.
Sinners is outstanding.
Boy, talk about giving you a lot to think about.
Yeah.
I saw Sinners. I loved it in real time. Mm-hmm. And then probably a month later, my subconscious was still, I'd be in the middle of something else and suddenly go, I'm still making connections and realizing, oh, that's what that was, and this was this, and and I've only seen that once too, and I keep meaning to get back and see it. Man, tremendous.
My wife and I just rewatched it at home, and it lands so hard.
Awesome.
Yeah, I loved it. Another one is Marty Supreme, which comes out on Christmas Day.
Okay, haven't heard about that one yet.
So the brothers who made Uncut Gems and Good Time, the Safdie brothers, they kind of split this year.
Okay.
And Benny Safdie went and made The Smashing Machine, that kind of MMA
the
wrestling.
Rock, yeah.
And I didn't really care for that. Josh Safdie.
Trailer was great,
but it was just like it was basically a dramatization of a documentary that already existed.
Got it.
So this Josh Safdie went off and made Marty Supreme, which is about table tennis. This guy in the 1950s who was it's a fictional story, but it's based on a real guy, and it's got Timothée Chalamet in easily his best performance to date.
Wow!
And it's this 2.5-hour movie that feels like it's 80 minutes long, and it's all about him just trying to scrape enough money to get to this tournament in Tokyo to play table tennis.
Oh, really?
And it's so
hell yeah!
It's so wild.
Okay,
and it's really kind of like the sound. Even though it's set in the 1950s, the soundtrack is like all these sort of 80s hits, and it's sort of riffing on the idea in the 80s how success and winning were all very big things in kind of Reagan era America.
Okay.
And so it's kind of a sports movie in that 80s style, but also got a touch of that Uncut Gems and Good Time Chaos.
Okay.
If you've seen those.
Yeah.
So it's just exhilarating.
That's
so great.
Wow. Okay. And it's called what again?
Marty Supreme.
All right. Very good.
Man.
I'm digging that.
I love Uncut Gems, but I freaking hate Timothée Chalamet. I just want to sock him in the face, but I still might watch this.
Yeah, you should. I mean, I don't think he disappeared into Bob Dylan when he made a Complete Unknown. And I think he really just you forget that it's him.
Okay.
When you're watching it. So
got it.
That's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
I have a predisposition to I can't stand Leonardo DiCaprio, and especially because every time I see him, I'm like, oh God, he's great.
Yeah.
It's like I can't. For some reason, I cannot flip the domino to go, oh, he's actually great. I just from day one, I just didn't want to like him, and especially in One Battle After Another. Just give him all of the awards.
I know,
it is the funniest performance and the deepest, craziest, lightest and deepest at the same time. I mean, it's brilliant. I loved it.
He's one of those actors where it's like, I would never want to meet him in real life, but boy, is he a great actor.
Yeah, that's very good. Brian, where can people track you down and see your shows, and just if anyone wants to get your list and check you out, let us know.
So I'm on deepfocusreview.com. That's my website. I've cover all new releases and write essays about classic films and whatnot. the CineFiles, which is a show on KARE 11 Plus, and you can catch it on YouTube. It's me, Chris Rapsky from KARE 11, and then Jamie Rogers, who writes for the playlist and also works at KARE 11. And then, that's
good.
That seems
good
like
place
plenty.
to start.
Yeah.
Quick plug for the KARE 11 Plus. You don't need to set up an account to use it. You can.
Okay.
You don't have to give them any of your freaking info. I love it.
Yeah,
you can
very good.
just get the app, download it, be done.
DeepFocusReview.com. Okay, final question. You said you graduated high school in the year 2000. Where'd you grow up?
In Forest Lake, Hugo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. First concert you ever saw?
For years I had ear problems.
Okay.
And just like 30 years I had ear problems.
Okay.
So honestly, like one of the first concerts I ever went to was David Byrne. And it was outstanding.
What year?
The American Utopia.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, if that's
Very
one of your
good
first
answer.
good way to welcome yourself into the world of live performance.
Right. Yeah, it was one of the best. I mean, just one of
Incredible.
the most amazing things I've ever seen.
All right. Well, that's a game winner right there.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming in, Brian.
Thanks for having me.
Good to see you. We got headlines in 5 minutes and 2 songs. Gorman in the morning, Minnesota's 92 KQRS. Anybody else just feeling like counting blue jeans right now?
No.
Is
that a personal problem?
I had a job in 1987 where I worked at a blue jean distribution center, and that song was on the radio 17 times a day as I just piled blue jeans into piles of 48 and put them on a truck. And so I have never heard Don't Dream It's Over since 1987 and not smelled denim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like the most effective folding blue jeans and getting them on the truck song, but
No, it really wasn't,
who am I
but
to
it
judge?
but it was a huge hit at the time. There was 2 songs. There was that one and I got a little change in my pocket going ding-a-ling-a-ling.
oh, some Georgia Satellite.
Georgia Satellites and Crowded House got me through a whole lot of very cold warehouse blue jean stacking days. Boy,
man.
those were the salad days, as they say. But you know what? Everybody's got one of those I used to stack blue jeans for a living stories.
Sure.
I mean, someone does. Me and a few other guys in Hopkinsville, Kentucky.
Yeah.
But right now, Ryder, it is Wednesday. It's December 23rd. Very happy to have you with us. I really enjoyed a conversation we just had with film critic Brian Eggert. And if you didn't hear it, you can always get the Gorman in the Morning podcast anywhere you get podcasts, anytime you want. That podcast brought to you on a daily basis by our dear friends at Devani's Pizza and Hot Hoagies.
That's the pizza getting done. Every time I ding that is a Devani's pizza getting completed.
That's exactly right. I really like that. That said, we are still going to move forward, however, because it is the top of the hour. I'm feeling Minnesota. Ryder, if you will. Please, some headlines.
Here we go. Nearly 250,000 shoppers hit up the Mall of America on Black Friday, bumping mall traffic up almost 9% and breaking the previous record set for visitors to MOA in 2019. Did you go shopping on Black Friday?
Is that a trick question? Not a chance. Are you nuts?
Yeah.
There was a National Football League game on between 2 teams I don't care about. I had to watch.
Of course.
Yeah, that's how that works.
The U.S. Treasury announced this week they are investigating allegations that public funds from Minnesota may be funneled to terror groups. Despite directing blame directly towards Governor Walz, so far no public findings have confirmed this. And 56% of Americans believe aliens do exist.
Yes, they do.
But only 47% think aliens definitely or probably have visited Earth. I feel like that's kind of high. Less than a third think that unidentified flying objects are probably alien spaceships or life forms, and 16% think we'll make contact with aliens within the next 10 years. 10 years seems real short to me.
Here's the problem with just about every conspiracy theory you can name. And by the way, if aliens have come and they've made contact, and a lot of people will then tell you, and the government knows, we're high, Area 51, Roswell. It's not like the aliens just go out and pick up people in rural areas and probe them and drop them, and then we call those people crazy. Most of the conspiracy theories are that, oh no, the government knows what's going on. That's what Roswell is. Blah 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 blah. My thought on all of those always comes down to nobody can keep a secret.
That's very fair.
It's just that simple.
Yeah.
The number of people that would have to keep that thing a secret, there's just too many. It's
right.
just not. It's just not possible.
The dad wisdom is always, if aliens are smart enough to get there, they're smart enough to make sure we don't find out about it.
Okay, very good. I like that one. That's pretty strong. Can we talk sports momentarily?
Hell yeah.
So yesterday it felt like Adam Thielen was going to ride off into the sunset on a high, leaving the Vikings, which was painful for him, but also being given the opportunity to go to a contender in his final NFL season to compete for a playoff spot and then hopefully even a Lombardi trophy. And Adam Thielen has certainly earned the right to go do that, and the Vikings agreed, and it's all good. The problem was they waived him yesterday, and the Steelers picked him up off waivers. Pittsburgh Steelers this season, in case you haven't been paying attention, there's a bit of a fervor in that town. This is a diehard fan base, as we know, as devoted as any, and there are calls getting louder and louder and louder. And now word on the street is inside the building, there are conversations about firing their coach, Mike Tomlin.
He's won them championships.
And he's their third head coach since 1969.
Damn.
Third.
Yeah.
How many coaches have the Vikings had? How many coaches have the Bears had? How many coaches has any team in the league had since 1969? This is their third. They had Chuck Noll, Dave Cowher, and now Mike Tomlin. That's it. They don't fire coaches.
No.
They let you retire when you're good and ready. And they're thinking about it, and that's where Adam Thielen just went, I'm sorry, bud.
Is Aaron Rodgers playing, or is he still injured? I know he's been out.
No, they had, what's his name? Mason Rudolph. Rudolph Mason, whatever. I don't know. I don't even know the status of Aaron Rodgers because the Steelers have gone from a team that was surprisingly kind of good early to now they're listing. Yeah. That ship is sinking really fast. They gave up the most run yards to the Bills this past weekend in 50 years. The last time someone ran for that many yards against the Steelers, his name was O.J. Simpson.
No way.
Yeah. So they're done. And you stick a fork in them. It's too bad. But moving on. Anyway, Adam Thielen, good luck to you. I mean, at least I hope you catch a bunch of balls, but I don't think you're going to have a postseason you were hoping for. The Minnesota Wild went to Edmonton last night and beat the Oilers 1-0. Brodeen giving us all the offense we needed. A one-timer in the first period right out of a face-off. A great goal. Bing, bang, boom. That's all we needed because Jesper Wallstedt stopped 33 shots and has moved his record to 8-0-2. What? That kid's playing out of his mind.
Still the wall in St. Paul, even when he's on the road.
Yeah, pretty fantastic. The Timberwolves went to New Orleans against the awful Pelicans. And they, some great stat lines. Rudy Gobert, 26 points, 13 rebounds, and had 44 points. That's all exciting. The only problem was we beat the Pelicans in overtime.
Uh-oh.
This is not a good team, and they took us to overtime. Chris Finch said before the game he thinks the Wolves' average, mediocre, milquetoast start to the season stems from the fact that the team is bored. Those were his words. So that means that they think they can just flip a switch when it matters. No, you can't. You can't do that when the Thunder and the Nuggets are in your same conference and they're both better than they've been the last 2 years when they won NBA titles.
Yeah, go look at your bank accounts and then tell me that you're bored.
Yeah, thank you very much. Something serious needs to change within the culture of that locker room. And maybe it's Finch. Maybe it's I don't know what it is, but it's incomprehensible to me that when you have two teams, your closest two rivals, the Thunder and the Nuggets, are the last two NBA champions, and they're better, and they're working harder, and they're just maniacally great teams. You cannot be bored.
No time for that.
It's not how that works. So there you have it. There's my State of the Union for local sports right now. How about let's see. How about Minnetonka?
Game on, Minnetonka.
How about Minnetonka? Just take a hot minute and say, what's up, Minnetonka? Glad to know you're out there with us. Glad to be here with you. Mentioned earlier in the show that December 3rd, 1979 is a historical day for rock music. The Who, Cincinnati, the crush of the crowd, an absolute tragedy. Not the only tragic day in rock history on this day. We'll share another one with a very serious local flavor after we hear this song from Stone Temple Pilots. Gorman in the morning, Minnesota's 92 KQRS, Stone Temple Pilots with Big Empty right there. Big Empty feeling in the world of rock, literally 10 years ago today. Scott Say it.
I say Weiland.
I know, and I do too, except for when I say Wieland when I don't mean to. Scott Weiland died 10 years ago today.
That's nuts.
It is completely nuts to think about that. He was famously in Bloomington, Minnesota, about to go on stage shortly before a gig with his band, Scott Weiland and the Wildabouts, was his post-STP, post-Velvet Revolver band. Outside the venue, on the bus, what was called an accidental overdose of several drugs. I can remember absolutely seeing that news and just being struck so hard. I didn't know the guy.
Yeah.
I met him, hey, how you doing, like a couple times, but didn't, in no way, shape, or form did I say I knew him. And I wouldn't have even said at that time I was a fan necessarily. I came around on Stone Temple Pilots kind of after the fact.
Okay.
Their first like 3-4 records right now I think are just fantastic. At the time I liked them okay, but I think they've really grown on me. But all this to say, just as a musician who spent a lot of time on tour buses in dark, cold nights in places like Minnesota when you're not from there, the idea that he would die on tour so far away from anybody, his family, from so far away figuratively from where he had once been in the world, if you will. Mm-hmm. He was going nowhere fast. He was on a very, very precipitous downhill slide at the time of his death. It was just so sad. Yeah. The whole thing. It was just heartbreaking to me. And I just thought to myself, there's no lonelier place to be than when you're lonely on tour. Because you're lonely and you're feeling bad and the whole world's telling you what's wrong with you. You shouldn't feel bad. You're on tour. You're a rock star. Get over it, dude. He was anything but feeling good at that time in his life. And it's hard to believe it's been 10 years, but it really was such a striking loss.
Yeah, for sure. And I was a rock DJ in Sioux Falls at the time when this news came out. So I, of course, had to go on the air and tell everybody. And even because of his lifestyle, it wasn't shocking to hear that this is how he died. But it was still like a big hole. And people were, very upset that this all went down, especially even in Sioux Falls. It felt close to home,
Yeah, no, it was really a great band who eventually, I do think, we were talking yesterday about the desire from other Seattle musicians to get Alice in Chains into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The big four from Seattle, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Nirvana are in. Alice in Chains is clearly next.
Yeah.
STP got lumped into grunge, but they're not. They were nothing to do with that. They're from San Diego, and they were just a straight up rock band. Mm-hmm. And then later they got very poppy too. A lot of very different sort of influences and sounds coming out of that band. I think they are absolutely a band that should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They were a tremendous live band. The singer that's been in with them for years now, Jeff Gutt, he's not Weiland. He's very good. He's a strong performer in the whole thing. But Weiland had that, as much as everybody that ever worked with him, he drove them all mad. He had a presence and a charisma and an aura. It's just like, that guy was born to be a front man in a great rock band. Yeah, I got to see STP in like the late aughts play in the Fresno County Fair or whatever it was, and I just thought it was going to be a total train wreck based on everything that I had heard about Scott Weiland, but he freaking nailed this show. It was one of the best shows that I've seen ever. MTV Spring Break 1993. The Black Crowes played at Daytona Beach on the bunch of bands for a big MTV event, and we headlined that. And STP went on right before us. They were this new band. They put their record out in '92, and we had heard of them. And I had heard a couple of the songs, and I was like, okay, And we have that thing where it's like, let me just check them out and see what kind of nonsense. And they walked out and they had some sound problems, and it didn't sound great at first, and you could tell they were a little like, TV show, it's a little wonky. But boy, there was no mistaking, like, that kid's the real deal. Like, he just had, again, that presence, that thing of like, there was a desperation in him that was not going to be denied. And he just owned the audience, and I was on the side stage going, okay, there's a star.
Hell yeah.
That guy had it, man. 10 years gone. Hopefully resting easy.
Yeah, if we're going to listen to one Stone Temple Pilots album today, what one would you pick?
The second one, Purple.
Okay, noted.
Kind of hard to beat to
on
me.
The agenda.
I think the first four are all really good, but that one is that's the one for me. So go ahead, do that. Tip the cap to Wheelan today. Mm-hmm. Go rock out on some Purple. Gorman in the morning. We're back in just a few. Gorman in the morning. Minnesota's 92 KQRS, Stone Temple Pilots with Big Empty right there. Big empty feeling in the world of rock, literally 10 years ago today. Scott, say it.
I say Weiland.
I know, and I do too, except for when I say Wieland when I don't mean to. Scott Weiland died 10 years ago today.
That's nuts.
It is completely nuts to think about that. He was famously in Bloomington, Minnesota, about to go on stage shortly before a gig with his band, Scott Weiland and the Wildabouts, was his post-STP, post-Velvet Revolver band. Outside the venue, on the bus, what was called an accidental overdose of several drugs. I can remember absolutely seeing that news and just being struck so hard. I didn't know the guy.
Yeah.
I met him, hey, how you doing, like a couple times, but didn't, in no way, shape, or form did I say I knew him. And I wouldn't have even said at that time I was a fan necessarily. I came around on Stone Temple Pilots kind of after the fact.
Okay.
Their first 3-4 records right now I think are just fantastic. At the time, I liked them okay, but I think they've really grown on me. But all this to say, just as a musician who spent a lot of time on tour buses in dark, cold nights in places like Minnesota when you're not from there, the idea that he would die on tour so far away from anybody, his family, from so far away figuratively from where he had once been in the world, if you will. Mm-hmm. He was going nowhere fast. He was on a very, very precipitous downhill slide at the time of his death. It was just so sad. Yeah. The whole thing. It was just heartbreaking to me. And I just thought to myself, there's no lonelier place to be than when you're lonely on tour. Because you're lonely and you're feeling bad and the whole world's telling you what's wrong with you. You shouldn't feel bad. You're on tour. You're a rock star. Get over it, dude. He was anything but feeling good at that time in his life. And it's hard to believe it's been 10 years, but it really was such a striking loss.
Yeah. For sure. And I was a rock DJ in Sioux Falls at the time when this news came out. So I, of course, had to go on the air and tell everybody. And even because of his lifestyle, it wasn't shocking to hear that this is how he died. But it was still like a big hole. And people were, very upset that this all went down, especially even in Sioux Falls. It felt close to home,
Yeah, no, it was really a great band who eventually, I do think, we were talking yesterday about the desire from other Seattle musicians to get Alice in Chains into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The big four from Seattle, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Nirvana are in. Alice in Chains is clearly next.
Yeah.
STP got lumped into grunge, but they're not. They were nothing to do with that. They're from San Diego, and they were just a straight up rock band. Mm-hmm. And then later they got very poppy too. A lot of very different sort of influences and sounds coming out of that band. I think I think they are absolutely a band that should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They were a tremendous live band. The singer that's been in with them for years now, Jeff Gutt, he's not Weiland. He's very good. He's a strong performer in the whole thing. But Weiland had that, as much as everybody that ever worked with him, he drove them all mad. He had a presence and a charisma and an aura. It's just like, that guy was born to be a front man in a great rock band.
Yeah, I got to see STP in the late aughts play in the Fresno County Fair or whatever it was, and I just thought it was going to be a total train wreck based on everything that I had heard about Scott Weiland, but he freaking nailed this show. It was one of the best shows that I've seen ever.
MTV Spring Break 1993. The Black Crowes played at Daytona Beach on the bunch of bands for a big MTV event, and we headlined that. And STP went on right before us. They were this new band. They put their record out in '92, and we had heard of them. And I had heard a couple of the songs, and I was like, okay, And we have that thing where it's like, let me just check them out and see what kind of nonsense. And they walked out and they had some sound problems, and it didn't sound great at first, and you could tell they were a little TV show, it's a little wonky. But boy, there was no mistaking that kid's the real deal. He just had, again, that presence, that thing of there was a desperation in him that was not going to be denied. And he just owned the audience, and I was on the side stage going, okay, there's a star.
Hell yeah.
That guy had it, man. 10 years gone. Hopefully resting easy.
Yeah, if we're going to listen to one Stone Temple Pilots album today, what one would you pick?
The second one, Purple.
Okay, noted.
Kind of hard to beat to
on
me.
The agenda.
I think the first four are all really good, but that one is that's the one for me. So go ahead, do that. Tip the cap to Wheeling today. Mm-hmm. Go rock out on some Purple. Gorman in the morning. We're back in just a few. Gorman in the morning, Minnesota's 92 KQRS, along with Fletcher and Ryder. Speaking of which, you can meet up with Fletcher and Ryder.
Oh, dude. It's going to be freaking worse than when I go to Menards. I'm going to the St. Paul Ice Fishing and Winter Sports Expo.
Yep.
And anytime I go to any of these sort of things, like the boat show, the outdoor show, blah, blah, I find a ton of things that I want to buy that I have absolutely no use for. But I'm like, we could use this in the backyard.
I'm the same way. I'm a sucker for a good display.
Yeah.
No, they see me coming. Fletcher and Ryder will be at the St. Paul Ice Fishing and Winter Sports Show Friday. That's in 2 days from 3 to 5. That's at the St. Paul River Center.
Yep.
You can find KQ at the Reed's Family Outdoor Outfitters booth. Grab yourself some KQ swag and other prizes. Plus, we're going to draw one grand prize winner from our Show Us Your Frozen Catch contest. And that winner is going to get $500 to spend at Reed's. So hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right, we're rolling along. We got a little bit of time left, just enough time, in fact, for the last word. Gorman in the morning, Minnesota's 92 KQRS. Here's the last word for today.
All right.
Throughout history, for millennia upon millennia, oftentimes women are just given the short end of the stick.
Dude, you're telling me.
Yeah, they're removed from their own accomplishments. You know, for years it was, well, behind every great man's a great woman, and that's all they'd say. But no, women have been turning the screws and making things happen forever. A year and a half ago, the world was reminded of the great Ruth Handler, who created Barbie.
Oh, yes.
With the movie
course.
Barbie, Ruth Handler noticed her own daughter, whose name was Barbara,
yes,
really loved playing with paper dolls that looked like grown-ups rather than baby dolls. And Ruth recognized, well, I should make a toy that lets girls imagine their future instead of them just being mothers with babies. Right? That's where that all came from. And to her credit, she created Barbie and an empire was born, and way to go, Ruth Handler. And overlooked oftentimes is Ruth's husband, Elliot, the man behind the woman. Just going to give him a quick shout out because Elliot Handler, Ruth Handler's husband, he had a little invention of his own.
What was it?
Hot Wheels.
Oh, no way.
So
that's very cool.
The Barbie woman and the Hot Wheels man were married.
Yeah.
So that's pretty badass right there. I mean, as a Hot Wheels fanatic, let me tell you, just want to give Elliot a little love.
Yes. Nice work, Elliot.
Yeah, just, so finally a dude gets his due. You know what I'm saying? Sorry.
Long overdue.
Long overdue. Thank God someone remembered the men.
Right.
Hey, tomorrow on the show, we're going to have a few things going on. First, rank you very much.
Yes.
Always a pleasure. Might have to be weather related, cold related. Sinking ship related, something. We'll come up with something.
Fletcher was going to brainstorm on this task, and since he dipped on the last hour of the show, I'm going to let him.
Maybe in honor of the Vikings, it'll be 3 greatest Lake Superior shipwrecks. We'll think about it. But along with that, we will have Vikings insider Sam Ekstrom to discuss what happens now moving forward. We're always looking for silver linings with Sam. Hopefully he brings a few to the table tomorrow.
I'm excited to just get him off the rails. Just get him as far away from talking about the Vikings as we can.
Okay, we could. You know what? I'm sure he'll probably appreciate that as well.
Yeah.
All right. As for what's coming up right now on this very radio station, Lisa Miller sitting in for Paul Fletcher. That is cause for celebration. Keep it right here on Minnesota's 92 KQRS.